welcome. We're going to start our practice today lying down on the mat on our back. So go ahead and lie right down, having the feet on the floor, the knees bent. And then with your hands, take the edges of the mat and use this to really centralize, to place the body, to roll the shoulder back, so that we descend into a sensation of evenness. And then go ahead and bring the knees open to the side, and finding in this way a supine Baddha Konasana. Make little fists with your hands and place the hands underneath the outer edges of the femur bones, so that the inner groins are not too stretched and opened brutally. And you can relax. Then closing the eyes, begin to settle into the pose, into the breath, into the state of practicing. Have a soft, smooth and regular breath. And with each exhalation, allow the groins to widen, the pubic bone to widen. Keep moving the buttocks and the sacrum towards the heels so that the lower back stays long. Keep allowing the shoulders to roll back, the sides of the neck even, and the face to be more and more quiet with each exhale receding backwards into the ground. Feel the distribution of the weight of the body on the floor, and use your senses to create a balance between left and right, an evenness. And now move the hands and just extend the arms out to the side of the body with the palms turned up to the sky. And feel with that gesture a new openness. And see that you feel with your breath every cell in the body being touched. And in this way feeling your existence in every cell of the body. Soft, smooth breaths keep relaxing and pacifying the face, the temples, the jaw. Soften the walls of the throat and feel the root of the tongue relax, descending into the throat. The dissolving of tension, the coming into softness creates more sensitivity. And with that sensitivity, existing fully, wholly, your presence everywhere. Being quiet and calm, the brain cells receding, but full awareness in the body. And observing the stability in this state. Being quiet, calm, and observing the breath. And now lifting the arms up to the sky, the palms facing each other, the arms are straight. Bend your elbows, take hold of your elbows with your hands, and bring your forearms to the floor behind you. So slowly beginning to bring a little more action here. Move the trapezius muscles down the back, as you pull the elbow tips to the floor behind you. Feel in this way a new opening of the chest where the back body is helping to open the chest. So no longer just opening it from the front, but actually penetrating the sternum plate from the dorsal spine, from the shoulder blades. Feeling the armpits begin to stretch, begin to open. Make sure the pelvis doesn't tilt in the incorrect way, that the sacrum is moving still towards the heels. The anus is facing the heels, and in this way the pubic bone won't drop. It can be drawn up to the sternum. Draw the ears in towards each other, keeping that evenness in the neck. And now lift the arms back up, uncross them, straighten them, and then bend the elbows, changing the cross of the arms, and replace them behind your head on the floor behind you. And with an exhalation, move the trapezius muscles down away from the ears, to clear that space, to make length between the ears and the shoulders, and repacify the root of the tongue. Keep the fingertips slightly alert so they're pulling the skin of the elbow back to the wall behind you and to the floor, and at the same time you're pressing the shoulder blades, the dorsal spine up, feeling more and more stretchingness of the intercostal muscles, broadness of the lungs. And now bring the arms back up And exhale and release the arms to the side of the body. And then using your hands on the outside edges of your thighs to gently help you bring the legs up. Tilt the pelvis, moving the buttocks towards the heels. Make sure the lumbar is long. With your hands, hold the edges of the mat. Re-centralize. And then stretch the legs straight, finding in this way SUPTA TADASANA. The thighs must roll in towards each other so the kneecaps really face the sky, the buttocks moving towards the heels so the lumbar is long. Taking with your hands again the outer edges of the mat, roll the shoulders back and feel evenness between the left side, the right side. Observe that evenness inside the body. Feel the inner feet lined up, the inner knees lined up. Quieten the face, quieten the brain. And now release the sides of the mat and just have the hands, the arms by the side of the body, as if you were standing in Tadasana, but you're on the floor. SUPTA TADASANA. Keep softening the front throat, pacifying the tongue, even as the body is becoming more alert and more compact. The legs should be firm, as if you were standing on them. The roots of the thighs firm. Now placing the left hand on the left hip, bend the right knee towards you, holding onto the big toe with the first two fingers of your hands, and stretch the right leg straight to the sky, finding our first SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA. Now just see what the body brings. Keep rolling that left leg in, pressing the root of the left thigh down, pressing the heel down as you draw the right leg towards you. And broaden the back of the right knee, broaden the back of the right thigh. Keep the shoulders rolled back, the face soft. And then exhale and release and find SUPTA TADASANA. Holding onto the mat with your hands, replace yourselves evenly from the left to the right. Before changing sides, left hand side now, left leg coming up, finding SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA 1 on the left hand side. See how it's very hard to press the back of your right thigh down once the left leg is lifted. So keep trying to press the root of the right thigh down, merging into the floor with the back of the thigh as much as possible as you bring the left leg towards you. Look for broadness in the back of the left knee, broadness in the back of the left thigh. And then exhale, bend the leg, and releasing, refinding SUPTA TADASANA. Rolling the thighs in towards each other, inner feet touching, buttocks moving towards the heels. So we're going to need a strap for our next version of SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA. So taking a strap and creating with the strap a loop. A nice big loop that makes a circle with the strap. Now bend your right knee towards you and put the strap on the inner heel and straighten the leg. One hand holds each side of the strap. So this is a kind of SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA that we use to really integrate the femur bone into the hip socket. So as you push up through the right foot, pull back strongly with your hands and pound the femur bone into the right hip socket. Make that understanding. The front, the back, the inner edge, the outer edge. How is it all sliding into the hip? And then how does that penetrate the hip? And how does the back hip feel on the floor, pressing? And then what's the difference between the right back hip and the left back hip? And then exhale and release the legs. We find SUPTA TADASANA. Before changing sides, SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA 1 on the other side with the strap. And so now beginning to pull with your hands to pound the left femur bone into the left hip socket. Keep that right leg charged, the right heel pressing down, and keep pulling the femur bone into the hip socket, drawing it in, feeling what the root of the thigh means and how it connects fully, front, back, inner edge, outer edge, and then the back hip, how it penetrates and pushes it to the floor. Keep the shoulders open, the chest broad. And then exhale, release, and refine SUPTA TADASANA. Rolling the thighs in, charging the legs, pressing the heels down, pushing through the balls of the feet. Keep moving the sacrum towards the heels, and in this way, drawing the pubic bone up to the sternum bone and creating length in the front waist, the front abdomen, the front spine. Observe that length. And now bending the right leg, place the strap back on the foot. the same way we just had it, and re-pound the femur bone into the hip socket. Each time we do it, we have more sensation, more comprehension of the fullness of that experience. Keep the left leg very charged. Now begin to draw that right leg towards you, but keeping the femur bone in the hip socket. Often when we pull the leg towards us, it kind of comes out. So it's up to you to keep drawing the front groin deeply into the hip socket as you bring the legs towards you, as you bring that right leg towards you. If the elbows bend, have them open to the side so the chest can stay broad. And now bring the right leg back up, bring the left leg up. Move the right leg and extend the right leg straight onto the ground, SUPTA TADASANA. So we're now on the other side, left leg, SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA 1. So re-pound the femur bone into the hip socket, have that connection, make that awareness. Keep the right leg rolling in, the heel pressing down as you draw the left leg towards you now. And the challenge is to draw the leg towards you without losing the connection, the depth of the front groin coming into the hip socket. Keep broadening the backs of the legs, pushing the quadricep muscles to the bone, deepening the groin connection, and then release, bringing the leg back up, take the strap off, and re-find SUPTA TADASANA, moving the buttocks towards the heels, rolling the thighs in, squeezing the knees equally, pressing the heels down equally. Deep inhalation, deep exhalation. Feel the front spine lengthening, the chest infinitely broadening. And now bringing your right leg towards you, re-finding SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA with the strap. This time, your right hand holds the strap as close as possible to the foot. We're coming to lateral SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA. And move your left leg diagonally out to the left for a further opening of the groin. It's best to come down in increments, so draw the right leg towards you and out to the side, towards you and out to the side, in this way making a diagonal descent. Stretch the left arm out. Squeeze the knees, squeeze the thighs. Find the outer edge of your right femur bone and strongly squeeze the flesh in. Find the indents of your outer hips and squeeze them towards each other. Roll the right abdomen to the left. Roll the right lung to the left. Stretch through the left arm. Feel the pubic bone becoming broad, becoming wide. Keep moving the tailbone up to the pubic bone and the pubic bone lifted up to the sternum to keep the chest broad, to keep that ascent, that lengthening of the front spine. And then bring the leg back up, move the left leg in. And exhale and release, changing sides. So bring your left leg up and bring your right leg down to SUPTA TADASANA. So now your left hand will hold the strap as close as possible to the foot. Your right arm extends to the side, and then you move your right leg out to the side, making sure the kneecap still faces the sky, and coming down as you pull the left leg towards you and out to the side, towards you and out to the side, to the left, until you found your maximum capacity. Now re-squeeze the knees, re-sharpen the ankles, pressing the right heel down, pushing through the left foot. Roll the left abdomen to the right, the left lung to the right, and with an exhalation broaden the pubic bone. Move the tailbone up to the pubic bone. And now with your next inhalation, draw the pubic bone up to the front bottom ribs and then up to the sternum. Roll the shoulders back. Broaden the chest. Now press the back ribs in to lift the chest open. And then bring the legs back up. Move the right leg in. And exhale and release and re-find SUPTA TADASANA. Moving the buttocks towards the heels, rolling the shoulders back. Charging the feet, spreading the toes. Make sure the buttocks are really moving towards the heels, the lumbar is really getting more length. And move the tailbone up to the pubic bone up to the sternum. Feel the length coming to the front spine, the length coming to the abdominal cavity. And now bending your left knee, bending your right knee, we're going to go up to some hip openers. So place the outer right ankle right there on the left thigh, and then bring the left leg towards you, interlock your fingers behind the back of the thigh. As you bring the legs towards you, you want to energetically, or with your right hand, push the right inner knee away from you. So the inner knee of the right leg is moving to the outer knee. And when you do that, you're going to feel immediately the hip broadening. Keep rolling the shoulders back and softening the front throat. Observing all of this with the breath. And then exhale and release. Changing sides. Bring the outer left ankle onto the top of your right thigh. And then bring the legs off the floor and either interlock the fingers behind the back of the right thigh, or you can take your left hand and use your left hand to push the left inner knee away from you. And in this way you keep the evenness of the back hips. Yes, you'll feel a little more intensity, but it's because the hips are staying even rather than shortening. Keep rolling the front shoulders back and softening the tongue, the throat, the temples. And then exhale and release the feet back to the floor. Lift the buttocks, move the buttocks towards the heels. Feel again the presence of a long lumbar. Then taking your strap, lift both of your feet off the floor and put the strap on the feet and stretch both of your legs straight. Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, but using the strap. So a different purpose. Often we do this pose for abdominal. Now we're doing it to understand a particular point here. So first of all, let's just straighten the legs and broaden the backs of the knees and broaden the backs of the thighs, and with our hands pound the femur bones into the hip sockets. So the legs, the senses are really ready to feel this here. Now, adding in a new dimension. As you pound the femur bones into the hip sockets, I want you to push your front thigh muscles to the bone, away from you. Keep pushing the front thigh muscles back. Feel the back of the leg get broader. But not only that, this becomes your point of resistance. So as you push the front thigh muscles back, from there you stretch the front waist away from the legs, up towards your face. Pushing the quadricep muscles away from you, stretching the front waist, shoulders back, collarbones long, back ribs pressing in, chest open. And then exhale and release, bending the knees, Viparita Bhavanamuktasana. The inner knees are touching, the inner feet are touching. With the breath, create a sensation of evenness, of equal distribution of weight on the floor. Relax the abdomen and try to keep that length in the front waist. Deepen the front groins into the hips. And then exhale, release, and bring the feet to the floor and stretch the legs straight and refine SUPTA TADASANA. So the SUPTA TADASANA should be gaining in alertness now, more precision. Take your strap and you're now going to make a little loop in your strap. So tighten it up so you've got a little loop, bend the right leg towards you and put that little loop around your right foot. So coming to our next version of SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA 1. So rolling the left thigh in, pressing the left heel down, the back of the left thigh firmly down. The right leg is straight, long. The quadricep muscle is pushing away from you towards the bone. The back of the thigh is broad, the back of the knee is broad, the foot is alert. And with the arms stretched above the head, feel how you can really access the sensations of the front waist, the front spine. There can be an incredible lengthening process. So keep stretching the arms and stretching the armpits, and in that way stretching the front trunk and bringing broadness to the chest. And then exhale, release, refine SUPTA TADASANA in order to change sides, coming now to the left leg. Stretching the arms above the head. Roll the right thigh in, press the heel down, keep the back of the right thigh firm. Pound the left femur bone into the hip socket. Find the quadricep muscle of the left leg and push it away from you towards the bone, feeling the back of the leg broaden, the back of the knee broaden, the ankle sharp. And now tuning in from there to how the stretch of the arms creates that fantastic stretch in the front trunk. And keep broadening the left and right front ribs, lengthening the trunk, lengthening the inner walls of the sternum, feeling the armpit stretch. Moving the trapezius muscles down the back, away from the ears. And then exhale, bend the leg and release and refine SUPTA TADASANA. Deep inhalation, deep exhalation, centralizing, neutralizing. Before bending again the right leg, putting the little loop on the strap and stretching the arms straight onto the floor behind you. SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA 1. Have that alertness in the feet. Push against the strap with your hands, pull against the strap. Push the front thigh away from you, the quadricep muscles away from you, broaden the backs of the knees, broaden the backs of the thighs. Now bend the left leg, put the foot on the floor, and in this way bringing a little more freedom to the leg, begin to draw the right leg towards you. Keep the femur bone drawn into the hip socket, the front femur bone deepening into the hip socket, the quadricep muscles moving to the back thigh. Keep pulling with the arms to stretch the waists, bringing length to the front trunk, length to the abdominal cavity, openness to the chest. Observe all of this with the sides of the neck even. And then exhale, release, stretch the right leg to SUPTA TADASANA. Same work on the left leg now, putting the loop of the strap on the left foot, finding SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA 1 with the arms stretched above the head. Roll your right thigh in, press the right heel down as you stretch the left leg, keeping the strap taut, pushing up through the left foot against the strap and pulling with your hands against the foot. Stretch the waists. And now bend the right leg, place the right foot on the floor. This will bring more freedom. Begin to draw the left leg towards you, pounding the femur bone into the hip socket as you do so, and pushing the front of the thigh away from you as you draw the leg towards you. With that resistance, keep the front waist long, the abdominal cavity long. Keep the back of the knee broad, the leg stretched. Keep drawing the leg closer and closer, moving the trapezius muscles down the back. See how far you can go. Keep pushing the front thigh away from you, deepening the valley of the front groin. And then exhale and release, and place the feet back on the floor. Deep inhalation, deep exhalation. Centralize, find evenness. And now bend your right leg, and with your first 2 fingers of the right hand, take hold of the big toes, pound the femur bone into the hip socket, and then reach and hold your foot with both hands, and drawing that leg towards you, keep the back of the leg well stretched, the front thigh moving to the back thigh, keep drawing the leg closer and closer. Allow the buttocks to come off the floor slightly. Now lift the head, press the back ribs up, lifting upwards to the shin. Pull with your hands, push with your foot. And then exhale and release, and bend the knee. Place the foot on the floor. Centralize. Then bringing the left leg up, holding the big toe with the first 2 fingers of your left hand. Pounding the femur bone into the hip socket, making that connection, pushing the quadricep muscle away. Then both hands holding the foot now, beginning to draw the leg towards you with greater strength. Keep the quadricep muscle moving to the back thigh. Keep drawing the leg towards you, allow the buttocks to lift up for greater mobility. Now lift the head, forehead to the shin, press the back ribs in, shoulders broad. Keep the leg very broad, squeezed. And then exhale, release the leg, and bring the foot to the floor. Roll the shoulders back, palms open to the sky. Inner knees touching, inner feet touching. Spread that evenness through the body with the breath, with the awareness. And now take your strap again, and make a little bit of a wider loop with your strap. Bring both of your feet off the floor, and put the loop over both of your feet. Stretch the arms straight onto the floor behind you. Finding Urdhva Padasana. Push the quadricep muscles to the back thighs, squeeze the 4 corners of your knees, sharpen both of your ankles. Have an alertness in the foot that's pushing to the strap. Stretch with the arms and stretch the side waist of the body strongly. Stretch the armpits. Stretch the muscle fibers of the arms. Broaden the chest. Keep pushing the front thighs away from you as you stretch off from that. Trapezius muscles moving down the back. The head of the femur bone strongly into the hip sockets. The spine is straight. Open the backs of the thighs, open the backs of the knees. Keep playing with that resistance of the front thighs, and from there stretching the waist more. And then bend the legs, remove the strap, and place the feet back on the floor. Roll the shoulders back, and observe what's different, what's changed. Before taking the strap again, and this time using the strap itself, not the loop, but the length of the strap, placing it on the arch of the foot. One hand holds each side of the strap. The shoulders are rolled back, the elbows are open to the side to keep the trunk broad. Keeping the head of the femur bone strongly into the hip socket, pounding it in, pushing the front thigh muscles to the back thighs. The feet alert, begin to draw the legs towards you. Reach up higher with your hands if you can. Continue to bring the legs forward, the spine straight. Keep moving the head of the femur bone back. Open the backs of your thighs, open the backs of your knees. Resistance of the front thigh moving away from you to the backs of the thighs. Keep bringing the legs closer. If possible, you can hold the feet, otherwise just holding onto the strap. Keep that charge in the legs. Open the backs of the knees, open the backs of the thighs. Trapezius muscles moving down the back. Now press the back ribs in so that even here the chest has a freedom, a broadness. And relax the face. And then bring the legs back up to Urdhva Padasana. Restretch the waists. And then exhale and release, and place the feet onto the floor. Stretching the legs straight, with your hands holding the edges of the mat in order to move the buttocks towards the heels, to place yourself evenly on the left and the right. Observe all of this. Have the same pressing down in the heels, the same squeezing in the knees. Evenness everywhere. And then gently rolling over to the right hand side, coming up to sitting to continue our practice. We're going to be coming into some forward bends now. So you'll need a blanket so that we have a little bit of evenness given to the hips. So fold it in half like this and place the blanket on your mat on the left hand side of the mat because you'll be sitting on the corner. JANU SIRSASANA is our first pose. So stretching the left leg straight, making sure you're sitting on the corner. Bend the right leg, bending the right knee so the heel is in the groin. And you should be facing diagonally forward. Pull the buttock bones back and out to the side. Bring the hands to the floor behind you, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest, and then turn and twist to the left, preparing for our descent to JANU SIRSASANA. Coming forward, step by step, in order to keep the front spine long, the shoulders broad, and the back ribs in. If you can reach the feet, take hold of the feet, otherwise keep the hands on the floor by the sides of the legs. Pull with your hands and draw the femur bone into the hip socket, same action as SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA 1. At the same time, elongate the back of the leg and push out through the foot. Press the front quadricep muscle down into the back of the thigh. Now with an exhalation, roll the right abdomen to the left, roll the right lung to the left. Move the trapezius muscles down the back, finding JANU SIRSASANA quiet in the face. Observing all of this, keeping the alertness where necessary, the softness where necessary. And then inhale, looking up. Fingertips to the floor, releasing. And preparing to change sides. So you move your blanket across now to the right side of the mat. Your right leg is extended and your left knee is bent, and you're sitting on the corner of the blanket, and then you pull the buttock bones back and out to the sides. So the blanket kind of wedges between the buttock bones. Fingertips onto the floor behind, roll the shoulders back, chest open, turn to the right, and then exhale, coming forward, step by step. Keep rolling the eyes of the elbows forward so the arms are spiraling in such a way that the shoulders keep their broadness. Keep lengthening the front spine, going with the idea of coming forward with the sternum rather than the head. If you can reach the feet, holding onto the feet, and with your hands pull to draw the right femur bone into the hip socket. Move the front quadricep muscle to the back of the leg, broadening and lengthening the back of the right leg, pushing out through the foot as you pull with the hands. With an exhalation, roll your left abdomen to your right, your left lung to your right. Press the back ribs in and place the sternum and the chin on the leg. Then quiet in the face, pacify the tongue, soften the throat. And then inhale, looking up, and gently releasing, coming out of JANU SIRSASANA. So we're going to change sides. We're now going to come to PARIVRTTA JANU SIRSASANA. So moving again the blanket, so it's on the left-hand side of the mat. Left leg is extended straight, and right leg is in JANU SIRSASANA. Make sure the left kneecap is facing the sky. Now this time turn and twist to your right like a PARIVRTTA. The left palm is pressing against the outside edge of the right thigh. The right fingertips are on the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Keep rolling the left abdomen to the right, away from the extended leg. Pressing the back ribs in, lift the sternum up to the sky. And now place the right hand on the right hip and stretch the left arm down the inside edge of your left leg. Invert the hand and hold the inner foot. Keep pushing the right hip towards the ground, making it heavy so it doesn't lift up into the stretching motion to the left. Roll the front shoulders back, and bring the right arm up, turn the arm, and extend the arm and take hold of the outside edge of that foot. PARIVRTTA JANU SIRSASANA. Keep trying to bring the left waist closer and closer to the front of the left thigh. Press the front of the left thigh down into the back of the thigh. With your hands, pull the femur bone into the hip socket, and at the same time push through your foot to stretch the trunk. Roll and turn, twist, left abdomen to the right. And then inhaling up, refine Baddha, feel the movement of the organs turning, twisting. Shoulders back, head back, relax the throat. And then exhale and releasing and changing sides. So having moved the blanket, extend the right leg and bring your left leg to JANU SIRSASANA. And then widen the buttock bones apart, making sure the right kneecap is facing the sky. As you turn and twist to the left, Baddha. The right palm is pressing against your left thigh, the left fingertips on the floor. Keep turning, twisting the right abdomen to the left. Shoulders back, chest open, broadness. Relax the face as you turn, as you twist, as you turn, as you twist. And now, having established the rotation of the organs, place the left hand on the hip, making that left hip heavy, stretching the right arm along the inside edge of the right leg, inverting the hand and taking hold of the foot. Keep moving the left hip down towards the ground as you bring the right waist closer and closer to the right thigh. Shoulders rolled back, find that twisting action. Continue the PARIVRTTA twisting here. Right abdomen to the left. And now stretching the left arm up to the sky. Take with your hand the outside edge of the foot. Tuck your head underneath your arms and begin to try to turn, to twist, to turn, to twist. Keep the front of your right thigh pressing down into the back of the right thigh. With your hands, pull the right femur bone into the hip socket, and with your foot, push into your hands to stretch the trunk. Keep turning the right abdomen to the left, bringing the right waist closer and closer to the right thigh. Left hip is heavy, grounding to the floor, back ribs in, chest open. And then gently releasing, refinding that PADANGUSTHASANA, that rotation again. Right abdomen rolling to the left, shoulders back, sternum lifted, face quiet, observing all of this, that fullness, and then exhaling and releasing. So we're going to be coming to Triyan Mukha Paida Paschimottanasana. So move the blanket. Go ahead and fold your right leg into Virasana, clearing the calf to make space for the knee. So you're resting right on the top of your shin and your front foot. Pull your buttock bones back and out to the side. Fingertips onto the floor behind you. Dandasana, roll the shoulders back and press your chest open. Head back. And then exhale and coming forward. If you can reach the feet. Otherwise have the hands on the floor. Try to lengthen more and more the front spine. Keep pulling with the hands, pushing with the foot. Draw the left femur bone strongly into the left hip socket. Slightly roll the right abdomen to the left so that more and more you're coming right onto the front of the extended leg. Trapezius muscles down the back. Move the front quadricep muscle of that left leg down to the back of the thigh, keeping the leg broad. And then inhale, look up. And releasing. Shoulders back, chest open. And changing sides. Moving the blanket to the other side of the mat. Folding your left leg into Virasana. Making sure you're on the front of the shin, the front of the foot, pulling the foot right in and clearing the buttock bone so you can really feel the purpose of the blanket. Fingertips onto the floor behind you. Press the chest open, roll the shoulders back. And then exhale, begin to come forward. See if you can reach the feet, otherwise have the hands on the floor. Try to lengthen now your front spine. Move the shoulders away from the ears. With your hands, pull the leg, the femur bone, into the hip socket. And with your foot, push the hands away to lengthen the trunk. Broadening the back of the knee, broadening the back of the thigh. Slightly twist the left abdomen to the right so you're laying more and more on the front of that thigh. Then looking up and gently releasing. Chest lifted. And exhale and release. Coming now to Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana. So our blanket is going to go in the middle so that both of our buttocks can sit right on the edge, and pull the buttock bones back and out to the side. Now go ahead and bend your right leg and bring it to Padmasana, and try to have the knee facing forward. Then reach around with your right hand and hold onto the foot, and exhale and stretch and take hold of the left foot. Now, of course, first of all, if the knee is very lifted, you should make the blankets higher. Secondly, if you can't reach the foot, you should take a strap, wrap it around your foot, and with your hand hold the strap, so creating that connection between the hand and the foot. Pound the left femur bone into the hip socket, pulling with your left hand. Extend the back of the left leg well, and roll gently the right abdomen to the left so that you're laying more and more on the front of the left thigh. And then looking up and gently releasing, pressing the chest open and unfolding the right leg. Now bringing the left leg into Padmasana, make sure to move the calf to clear the back of the knee And try to have as much as possible the knee facing forward, wrapping the left arm around, taking hold of the foot or the strap. And try to have as much as possible the knee facing forward, wrapping the left arm around and taking hold of the foot or the strap. Begin to exhale and come down to Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana. Keep the front abdomen long as you come down, the front spine long. If you can hold the foot, take hold of the foot, and with that action, pound the right femur bone into the hip socket and stretch well the back of the right leg. Shoulders away from the ears, and gently roll the left abdomen to the right so that you're laying more and more on the front of the right thigh. Now quieten the face, soften the throat. Keep that right leg alert, taking all of the SUPTA PADANGUSTHASANA work into the right leg. Before looking up and gently releasing. Pulling the buttock bones back and out to the side again so you're really sitting on the inner edge of the sit bones. Rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chest, finding that Dandasana action. Pressing the front thighs to the back thighs. And exhaling, coming forward to Paschimottanasana. Again, coming forward step by step, otherwise you risk making a big C shape with the spine and losing the opening of the front spine. So gently walking the fingertips forward, rolling the eyes of the elbows forward, shoulders broad. Keep pressing the back ribs in. The roots of the femur bones firmly into the hip sockets, the front thighs pressing into the back thighs. If you can hold onto the feet, do so, otherwise keep the hands on the floor with the arms stretched. And even in this compression, try to bring more length to the front spine, from the pubic bone to the navel, more length, from the navel to the sternum, more length, from the sternum to the collarbones, more length. Move the trapezius muscles away from the ears, try to press the back ribs in so the sternum is coming down onto the front thigh. Keep widening the buttock bones, pressing them into the floor. Soften the throat, soften the face, soften the temples, the eyes, the tongue. But keep reaching, pulling with the arms, pushing with the legs. And inhaling, looking up. And gently releasing. We're going to be coming now to some Baddha Konasanas. And we're going to be taking the blanket we were sitting on and using it to increase the opening of the groins a little bit. So folding the blanket as I am here, and then placing it in front of you and bringing your feet onto the blanket. Of course, if you have very tight groins or there's an injury, don't do this one. Just do simple Baddha Konasana. And then stretching the arms, begin to walk the fingertips forward into Yoga Mudrasana Baddha Konasana. Keeping the arms stretched, remember through the stretching of the arms we begin to be able to access the stretching of the trunk. But as you stretch the arms, be careful not to hunch the shoulders. Keep moving the trapezius muscles down the back, keeping the sides of the neck long, spacious. And send each exhalation into the groins, into the pubic bone, into the hips, into the abdomen. Releasing, relaxing, creating evenness on the left, on the right, spreadingness, broadness. The breath smooth and regular, calming the nervous system. Engage from the tips of the fingers to the tips of the toes. And observing all these different sensations, finding the pattern, the expansion in them and following that. And then coming back up and releasing. Moving the blanket now, coming onto your hands and knees. We're going to come to Yoga Mudrasana Gomukhasana 3. So cross the left knee behind the right, widen the feet apart, and you're going to sit between your feet. If you have tight hips, you may want to sit on a blanket or a block. If not, sitting right on the floor. And then once you've found your place of comfort, begin to walk the fingertips forward and again find the stretchingness of the arms. And roll the inner elbows, the eyes of the elbows we call them, roll them up to the sky. And feel how the upper arm now begins to spiral away from the ears, creating a broadness. Keep stretching the arms to stretch the waist, stretching the waists, the left waist, the right waist. And now walking to the right, PARIVRTTA Yoga Mudrasana Gomukhasana 3. Keep stretching the left arm forward, gently rolling the left abdomen to the right. Moving the shoulders away from the ears, broad and relax the hips. Press them into the ground. And then gently coming up. Coming back onto your hands and knees and uncrossing the legs. Don't worry, we'll do the left twist on the other side. So crossing now the right knee behind the left and coming to sit on the floor or a bolster or a block, whatever height you need to make it doable. I prefer to sit on the floor, so I'm going to move it now. Then stretching the front waists. Exhale and coming forward, finding Yoga Mudrasana action, stretching the arms, rolling the eyes of the elbows forward, spiraling the arms, the shoulders away from the ears. Keep walking the fingertips forward to stretch the armpits, to stretch the waist, and send the exhalation into the hips, into the groins, into the abdomen, the lower back, releasing, relaxing, broadening, allowing that fluidity to move through. Relax the face, quieten the ears, keep walking the fingertips forward, keeping that aliveness. And now turning and twisting to your left, PARIVRTTA, Yoga Mudrasana, Gomukhasana 3. Stretch the right arm forward, keep walking it forward, stretching it forward. The left arm can bend to help you turn and twist the right abdomen to the left. Rolling, turning, twisting, following the flow of that rotation. Relax the hips, try to find evenness as you find the broadness. And then inhaling back up. And exhaling, coming onto your hands and knees, uncrossing your legs. And now we're going to stretch the toes and the feet out a little bit. So turning the toes under and sitting in Vajrasana. Really spread between your big toe and your index toe. Try to press right down into the balls of the feet. Now interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, and inhale and lift the arms to Parsvatasana in Vajrasana with the toes inverted. Keep moving the tailbone forward. Stretch the arms to stretch the waist, getting taller, getting longer. Press down between the toes, making space. And then exhale, release the arms. Re-roll the shoulders back, soften the face again, the throat. Then bring the hands, change the interlock of the fingers, turn the palms out again, and coming up to the other side of Parsvatasana. As you lift the arms up, move the trapezius muscles down the back. Try to stretch the side waists more and more, to stretch the skin of the armpits, to stretch the arms, to push up through the heels of the hands. Keep pressing the roots of the thighs down so the front waist is stretching more and more from that resistance. And then exhale and release the hands back down and refine Vajrasana. Feel your feet, your toes, press into them before releasing. So nice for our feet that get stood on all day without much thought. Just observe, feel, breathe. Palms turned up to the sky. Creating that presence. Observing the breath. And then releasing. And we're now going to come and lie down on our mat for some SUPTA Padmasanas. And if Padmasana is not available, you can do SUPTA Sukhasana. So this is Sukhasana where the ankles are crossed. The next stage of intensity would be to have one leg, the right leg in Padmasana and the other leg in Sukhasana. And if it's possible to have full Padmasana, then go ahead and place the left foot on the right thigh, finding that full Padmasana now. And then begin to lie down. And as you lie down, make sure the buttocks move towards the knees so the lower back has length. Then bring the arms up to the sky, cross the thumbs, and stretch the arms to the floor behind you. Whether you're in Sukhasana or Padmasana or half Padmasana, press the roots of the thighs down towards the knees, and in this way create a stretch in the front abdomen, stretching the left front waist, the right front waist. Feel the walls of the sternum broadening, ascending, lengthening. Feel the armpits stretching, the arms stretching, the wrists, the fingers stretching. And now move the trapezius muscles down away from the ears, press the shoulder blades in. Now bringing the knees towards you, you're going to lift yourself up and wrap your arms around your legs, taking hold of your hands if you can. And then bring the torso back down to the ground. And keep that length and that softness in the abdomen. Keep the back ribs, the back shoulder blades gently pressing in to open the chest, even here. Deep exhalations into the hips. Softness in the lower back. And then exhale and release, coming back up to sitting. And turning and twisting to the right. Baddha Vajrasana in Padmasana, half Padmasana or Sukhasana. The left palm is pressing against your right thigh, the right fingertips on the floor. Roll the front shoulders back, make the collarbones long. Roll the left abdomen to the right. Keep the front throat soft. Use the inhalation to lengthen the front spine. Use the exhalation to twist. And then release. and undo the legs. So now we're going to change sides. So either you're doing Sukhasana, crossed ankles like this, or you're doing half Padmasana, left leg in Padmasana, or you're doing full Padmasana, in which case the right leg will come over last. Whoops, a little bit of falling trees there. So back to our Padmasana, bringing the right leg in and placing it as high as you can on the root of the thigh. Try to have as much as possible the kneecaps facing forward, and then begin to roll backwards, coming down to the ground, trying to keep the lumbar long, stretching the arms, crossing the thumbs, and re-stretching the arms behind you. Now begin to press the roots of the thighs down to the ground and towards the knees, away from the abdomen. And then with the arms stretched, to stretch the waist to bring length to the abdominal cavity. First of all, you'll feel the skin fibers stretching, kind of like a tearing feeling. And then underneath, everything else will begin to move and stretch once you get through that. Keep stretching the left waist, the right waist, broadening the rib cage, stretching the armpit chest, the triceps, the forearms. And now, bringing the knees towards you, go ahead and lift yourself up. Take hold of what you can, holding the hands, hugging the knees tightly towards you, and settle back down to the ground. And with an exhalation, broaden, relax the hips, soften the face. Trying even here to keep that length in the front abdominal cavity, that length and broadness in the side ribs. Shoulders rolling back, back ribs pressing in. And then releasing. And slowly rolling up to sitting. We're going to be coming to a twist now, coming to the left-hand side, Baddha. So the right hand is pressing against the outside edge of that left thigh. Walk those left fingertips right back so that it really helps you to turn and twist. Lengthen your collarbones, roll the front shoulder girdle back. Use the inhalation to lengthen the front spine, and the exhalation to roll the right abdomen to the left. Face quiet, brain quiet. Following the flow of openness. And then exhaling and releasing, undoing the legs. And coming out of Padmasana. Stretch the legs straight in front of you, widening the feet to the width of the mat, and pull the buttock bones back and out to the side firmly. So you're really, really feeling the separation of the buttocks. Push the quadricep muscles down and stretch the front waist. Coming forward, Paschimottanasana with wide legs. Again, step by step, take your time, moving the shoulders back, lifting the sternum, pressing the back ribs in until your hands can reach the feet. Keep drawing the femur bones strongly into the hip sockets, pressing the quadricep muscles down to the back thigh, broadening the back of the knee, broadening the back of the thigh. Keep the shoulders moving away from the ears. Try to stretch the left waist, the right waist. Try to bring length to the abdominal cavity. Roll the thighs slightly in towards each other, widening the buttocks, pressing them to the floor as you press the back ribs in. Sides of the neck even, face soft. And then looking up, removing the shoulders away from the ears. Gently coming up, fingertips on the floor behind you, Dandasana, press the chest open, press the roots of the thighs down. And now release. Our next pose, you need one blanket and you need a wall. We're going to be doing our inversion here and our Savasana at the same time, VIPARITA KARANI, a wonderfully restorative pose, amazing for the vascularity of the brain, the throat, the face, releasing of the nervous system, for the immune system, also very, very supportive and powerful. So as you can see, you're lying back with your legs up against the wall, the arms stretched out to the side. And then allow your thighs to roll open so that there's comfort and softness in the legs, no hardness. Make sure that you've placed your front shoulders so they're rolling back, so that as you relax, the chest is naturally open, and that you're lying as much as possible on the middle of the back skull, the sides of the neck even. And then with an exhalation, begin to allow the entire front face to recede backwards into the back skull. The eyes softly resting in their sockets. The eyelids flowing towards the cheeks, towards the temples, the little muscles of the cheeks relaxing. The ears flowing towards the floor. Feel the lower jaw hanging off the top jaw. And relax and pacify the root of the tongue so it feels that it's descending gently towards the throat. Relax the glottis, relax the neck, the front throat. Feel the collarbone softly lengthen in softness, and the entire shoulder girdle flowing towards the ground and flowing towards the palms, melting and spreading. Let the hips be heavy, let the abdomen be completely soft and resting on the spine. Let the roots of the femur bones rest profoundly in the hip sockets. The thigh muscles releasing their grip on the thigh bone. The knees soft. The calves, the shins, liquid, fluid, the ankles soft. All of the little muscles on the front of the feet relaxing, resting. The toes, the space between the toes. And the skin on the soles of the feet porous. Soft, smooth inhalations and soft, passive exhalations. Allowing the breath to flow everywhere. And feeling through the touch of the breath your presence. That awareness. Sensing everything everywhere at the same time. Keep observing the recedingness of the body, the meltingness. The trunk becoming quiet, the abdomen becoming quiet. The limbs becoming quiet. Soft breath, smooth breath. The eyes more and more passive, resting more and more backwards. The brain also passive, quiet. Gently shrinking away from the edges of the inner skull, so that there's spaciousness in the skull, a deep restingness. Soft, quiet breath, smooth breath. And now we're going to be bending our legs into our last Baddha Konasana. So knees open to the side. Bring the heels close to the groin, resting the outer feet on the wall. And move your arms and making fists with your hands, supporting the outer edges of the femur bones, so that the inner groin can really relax and trust. Make sure the anus is facing the wall, the sacrum is moving towards the wall, and that your pubic bone is gently coming up towards the sternum, following the natural slant of the body. And then using the hands, gently bring the knees towards each other and pushing the feet against the wall, inch yourself backwards, left side, right side, right side, until your hips now are on the floor. The inner feet touching, the inner knees touching. And then rolling gently over to the right hand side. Observing all of this. Face soft, brain quiet. A detached, peaceful alertness. And then slowly, gently, using the hands, begin to push yourselves up. Come onto your mat into Vajrasana, forehead to the floor, arms by the side of the body, finding child's pose. And with an exhalation, release one last time completely into the floor. And with your forehead, salute the earth. And with your back, salute the sky. Soft, smooth breath. lightness, quietness. And then slowly, gently, beginning to roll up, lower back, middle back, upper back, placing the backs of the hands on the roots of the thighs, gently pressing the roots of the thighs down. From there, stretching the front waists, front shoulders rolled back, the front throat soft, the jaw soft, the face reposeful. Observing all of this, the left, the right, the evenness, the openness, settling deeply in the core, resting as that awareness, resting in that, and then bending the elbows and pressing the palms together in front of the chest. Keep rolling the shoulders back, lifting the sternum, pressing the back ribs in, settling deep into that space between the lungs, the heart, the fourth center of consciousness. And then releasing the hands and gently opening the eyes. Welcome back. Namaste. I hope we practice again together soon.